Good evening, everyone. My name is Someshwar. I welcome all of you on behalf of Art of Living organization to Yog Vaashishtha evening session. नमस्ते सोमेश्वर, आप सभी का आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग संस्था की तरफ से योग वाशिष्ठ के सायंकाल के सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ। रोज की तरह आज के सत्र की भी शुरुआत हम लोग 3 बार ओमकार का उच्चारण करके करेंगे। We'll begin our session by chanting ओमकार 3 times. Today we are on day 109. आप हम लोग 109वें सत्र में यहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं। We'll continue to listen to story of Shikhidhvaj and Chudala and how they walk on this path and ultimately get into realization. So let's all close our eyes, आंखें बंद कर लें, आराम से बैठ जाएं, रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधी हो, गर्दन सीधी, शोल्डर्स रिलैक्स। Take a normal breath in and let go. Take a deep breath in and exhale completely for Omkar chanting. Breathe in. गुरु का आवाहन कर लें। आवाहनम 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 पुनः पुनः गुरु वंदना कर ले। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर् साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us pray to the divinity, to the master. Whatever the words that come out of this mouth, whatever the actions that are happening, whatever the thought that hover onto this mind and the power of discrimination arise in our intellect, the impressions that might be getting created on this memory, and if still there is an iota of that I, me. All these are just an expression of that supreme, that consciousness, that Guru Shakti. So let the inspiration also come from the Guru Shakti. Pray like this. We, the people walking on the path of liberation, if you have experienced that mukti, moksha, right now, this moment, then let this remaining life be inspired by the Master alone. Feel the presence of that Chaitanya, that consciousness, that Shiva, Guru, in and around. And slowly and gradually, you may open your eyes. धीरे धीरे अपनी प्यारी सी आंखें खोल सकते हो. So today we are on day 109. आज हम लोग 109वें सत्र में यहाँ पे पहुंच चुके हैं. Today also we are celebrating Art of Living 14th anniversary. आज हम लोग Art of Living की स्थापना हुए 40 साल यहाँ पे हो चुके हैं. तो उस 40 साल के उत्सव को भी आज हमने मनाया गुरुदेव के साथ. There was a live satsang which we have all enjoyed. We'll continue this session, which is now in the chapter number 79, sub chapter number 79, where we have seen the background of Chudala and Shikhidhvaj, how they come together and how the Chudala gets into enlightenment and how the Shikhidhvaja goes into the forest to continue his penance. He does all these things what he wanted to do, but yet he does not get the self-realization. Now this Chudala, who has already achieved the self-realization, the Atma Gyan, she goes into the forest by taking the form of a Narada's son called Kumbha. So she goes to in the form of Kumbha and then initiate the dialogue between the Shikhidhvaj and the Chudala, who is in the form of Kumbha. So that is where she continued to impart all the knowledge that she has acquired in a very subtle manner. Shikhidhvaj also continued to ask the questions, and this Brahman, Rupi Kumbha, that Chudala, continued to answer all of them. So likewise, it all continues, and then when they reaches to one particular point of time where most of the ignorance is removed out of this Shikhidhvaja, that is where now she starts giving him the real knowledge, that real truth, because of which she finally becomes the self-realized. So here Chudala is now guiding to Raja Shikhidhvaja, King Shikhidhvaja, which leads to self-realization. Here Vaashishtha tells to Rama, this Shikhidhvaja, he wants to get into that Atma Bodh, that self-realization. Because of that, this Kumbha, in the form of Kumbha, this Chudala starts speaking. She says that this knowledge, this Samyak Yathartha knowledge, is really, it is like a nectar. If one has a poison and if they take that in the form of that with a buddhi, with the Samyak buddhi, with that pragya, with that thing, then even the poison also becomes a nectar for it. And if there is a nectar and if the one does not see it from that drishtikon, from that vision, so that also turned out to be poison. Now, how is this? Why it is said like this? So you look at that, we know that there is a snake, and then the snake, some of them are poisonous, some of them are not poisonous. So what are the poison that come out of snake? Even that poison, if you use it with a knowledge, then that also can be a life-saving drug. There is a process, medical science, pharmacists, they know how to convert that poison also into a life-saving drug. So that also becomes like a nectar. So it is that knowledge, it is that realization of the knowledge. It is about knowing about your own self leads one to even convert the poison also into the nectar. And if you don't look at it, then even there is a nectar that is available. Even there is things that is, for example, your food, which is in the form of a nectar, which gives you prana shakti. But if you do not eat at right time, if you do not eat it in right quantity, then that also turned out to be a poison for you. If you eat more No, then that also turns out to be the nectar which is there, that Shakti which is there also turns out to be destructive cause for you. So it is the knowledge about the things, that how the things needs to happen at right time in the right manner, that will leads us to the self-realization. It is like that if you open your window in the night, the sunlight will not come. So the time of the sunlight, when the sun is arisen, and that point of time you open your window, so the sunlight will come. So it's like that. So when the right time you have to do the right thing in the right manner, then the knowledge will dawn. That thing will dawn in you. So it is that is very important. That here she is telling that, hey Rajeshwari, this knowledge, this Chitrupi Sarvatmak Ishwar, means this, it is the thing that is omnipresent, omnipotent. This God, this Ishwar, that is the Shubha, that is the one which is worth having contemplated, that is the worth being one with it. No? So like that bhavana, like that Dhrida Nishchaya, like that thing that you do it in yourself, so that you can completely relax and you can completely establish in that. Now she also says that if you focus on that, that is what will dawn, that is what will remain. But if you focus on the avidya, if you focus on the other thing, other side of story, so that will grow. So, and then that will become the root cause of your suffering also. So you now focus on something which is this ultimate truth, that is that Purna Brahma, that is that Purna Chaitanya. You focus only on that. Now that is what is worth living in this life. If you start focusing on the other things, there are a lot of such Brahma, there are a lot of such hallucinations that are available in this world. And if you focus on that unreal world and the matter and people, situations, and things in this world, then you will get stuck into this, and then this is like a Maya Jal, this is like an illusion. You'll get entangled, just like that elephant which gets entangled into that more and more, you will get entangled into this more. So you understand that this whole thing that has been spread, the root of that, the source of that is that Chaitanya, that thing, that is what is called as Ishvara. We call it with different names, and that is really it is. So how is this Ishvara, how is this Chaitanya, how is this Shiva Brahma with different name, what we call? It is omnipresent, omnipotent. How? For example, the particles of the gold, that is all present, no? But what the man does, it puts an effort in mining it. They go and then they mine, and then they put together all that, process it, that tattva, process it, and then finally convert that into the form of the gold. So it is not they have produced the gold. Gold is already there. That Chaitanya is already there. Now you put together your understanding about it, and putting it together, you have an gold. Now even that gold is there. Would anyone wear that gold as it is? No. So what we do, we form a different ornament. Then we call something as chain, something as Mangal Sutra, something as bracelet, something as the payal. No, with different shapes and different ornaments, we design it in different things. We give it a different names to it, and then we wear it. So like that, that same Chaitanya, that same Ishvara, that same Chaitanya consciousness, even though it is there, what we do, we put it together and then give it, using the words, we give it different names and different forms to it, just for our understanding, so that it becomes wearable, so that the interaction, so that the transaction, so that the vyavahara, that thing that we keep on doing in our day-to-day life can happen. But yet it is worth understanding and remembering that that gold, that thing is the real one. That is what is there in everything. That buddhi, that samyak buddhi, that samadrishti, that you are able to see the gold in all the ornament, you are able to see the same Chaitanya in the entire creation, then that is worth in life. So Chudala continue to explain that this Jagat is that Maya, but that Maya also has that same Ishwar Tattva in it. That she says, then if you see and look at the Upanishads and Shrutis, you'll get to hear that in the Shrutis it is said that this earth, this Prithvi is also Ishwar, And then the one which is giving it the inspiration, that is also God, that is also Ishwar. And if you say, ask like this, why it is being said so, essentially all these things are in the form of illusion. All these names and forms that we use, it is in the form of that. But if you look at the inner strength, the inner support that is being given to it, in all the things, in all the Panchama, Bhuta, 5 elements combined together, put together, it's forming the Dravya or the matter, and then that matter expressing it in different forms, and we start calling it in different words, and then we giving it different forms and addressing it. If you look at it, it's all things are meant to only understand for us is to understand that divinity, that Chaitanya, that Shiva, that Brahma. So when they expresses like this, all they comes in the form of male and female, the Prakriti and the Purusha, and they all exhibits all the things that they are supposed to do. They continue to do that. No? The Bija Ankuredan, the male and female comes together and they produce the new baby. It's so miraculous. No? So all these things, miraculous things keeps happening in this entire universe. But it is worth remembering that, is worth remembering that Mool Tattva, that inspiration behind is that Chaitanya. And how is that Chaitanya is there? When you continue to walk on this path, you continue to do your all actions in your life, then all these things, that what it creates and in which it diminishes, no? The Utpatti and Lay, no? All the Bhoga Sadhana, all the things that you experience in life, you go through it, no? You go through that all thing is that Sarva, that entire thing is Purna Brahma. That Purna Brahma, and Purna Brahma only is that. It is like this, you understand. So we have seen this earlier also, no? Shankaracharya and all that, in the Shrutis and this is, we have always kept on listening this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So what is this? So it is that thing which is complete in itself. No? That it is like that 0 plus 0, what remains is 0. 0 minus 0, what remains is again 0. So it is that fullness. It is that Purna, it is that fullness that if you take out something out of it, still it will remain full. And if you put something in it, still it is remain full. So the energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can just transform from one form to another form. That's it. So that is the thing, that it is that Chaitanya, it is that consciousness. It is that thing which is beyond the words. It is complete in itself. It's not that it is created. It is not that it is destroyed. It is that completeness. No? So it is the same thing. When nothing is there, that Shunya, that 0, that is also the same. And Purna, that completeness, that is also this. I am nothing is also Shiva. I am everything is also Shiva. I am something is also Shiva. So that is the state that one has to really get into and understand. And in reality, that Purnata, that thing is Shanta, and it is Manarate. There is no iota of that mind. There is no iota of that Chitta. The Chit is Chitta Rahit. Chit. That's a Chitananda. That Chitta is there. And when this knowledge dawns within one, then that point of time we can really see that whatever the other actions, whatever the other movements that happen in entire universe is in reality, it is nirarthak. There is no reason for that, because there is no reason for this creation. There is no reason for the waves that keeps happening. So it just like that, the waves are happening. The moment you go deeper inside the sea, you will see that Prashant Mahasagar, that Prashant thing, that Shanti. So like this one, this thought process, this understanding, when that is established, when this bhavana is completely dhrada nishchay, it becomes the completely established understanding. That is nothing called as nirvana. That is what is being said as nirvana. So what happens? So the one who is knowledgeable, the Jnani Purush, they consider this chitta as this chitta as asatya, no, but that is get converted into the sattva, and the one which is mood, that ajnani, he, for them this remains as chitta. Now this is very beautiful, that way many times we ask this question, that if this chitta, and we are talking about chitta nash, chitta ka vinash, no, nashta kar dena, if we have to destroy this mind, all these things are said, then how do we then think? How do we live in this world? That is what is the question that is asked, and the answer is coming here. It is not about destruction of that. It is not about that. It is transformation of your chitta into something called as sattva. So what remains is sattva. So it's not that you are transforming your chitta into sattva. So sattva is created. No, it is not sattva is created. It is just that gold that was already there. It is like that you have an ornament and you have dissolved that ornament again into the gold. So what is remaining? That is it gold created? Gold is not created. It was already there. So sattva was already there. Now what are the different form of that sattva you have taken? In the form of chitta, assuming you are different than the sattva, that separation made you think like you are chitta. But then the chitta is now transformed, went back to its source. What it will become? It will become satya. It will become sattva, satya. It will become that formless thing. No? So what is there is already there. So here that's the reason not said that sattva is created. Sattva is not created. Sattva is there. Brahma is there. Shiva is already there. No, you are just, the moment you become Shanta, the moment you become in that, you automatically assumes the Jiva becomes Shanta, realize, automatically becomes the Shiva. The Shiva, which is Shanta, takes the form of activity, Spandan, automatically becomes the Shakti, but it is again the same Shiva. No, it is the same thing. So when it is like the bubbles that get formed inside ocean, and you look at those bubbles, although it appears as different bubbles here, but if you see, does bubble exist? Bubble doesn't exist. The bubble, once that there, what remains is just the water. No? So what is the existence of this bubble? It actually does not exist. So this bubble appear to exist, but when the bubble is destroyed, then what remains is nothing but the water. So it is just like that. It's similar to like that. See, in this Srishti, that even if you are addressing with different things with words, that okay, this is Prithvi, this is Binaji, this is Savitaji, this is what is computer, this is what is book. All these different words that you address in this entire Jagat, ultimately what is there behind this Srishti, behind this Jag is that. And in both, in Shabd also and in this Drishti Jagat also, they appear to be very relative in nature. And the Shabd and its meaning, that is Shabdartha. Beyond this, in the Bhavana also and in the Abhava also, both it is the same Shiva Tattva. In the morning session, after the morning session, Padma Suraji was asking me that she was reading on page number 242, something like that. She said that here it is mentioned that the one which is there, that is in between the real and unreal. And that was very confusing. How can be in between the real and unreal? Something in between. So the answer for that was basically that what you say as real and what you say as unreal are just two mere words. What we are saying, it is from our perspective, we are saying something as real and something as unreal. But what reality is there? Do we really know it? Do we can anybody know it with your five senses and at the level of knowing it? No, it is beyond knowing. So when it is beyond knowing, when we are trying to express that in words, how can it be in real or unreal? When we don't know, how can we say something as real? And we don't know it, how can we say that it is not real? No? So it is that thing that if we show you that half glass and if somebody say that it is half empty and it is half full, both the statements are correct. If somebody says that it's real and somebody says it's unreal, both the statements are correct. Somebody says it's like this, somebody says like that, both the things, how that both the things can be correct? No, on the logical level, it appears that okay, so if somebody says that okay, this is like the things, how can both that be correct? So like this, it is the game of these words that comes into picture. So if one says that okay, don't see the intention behind other people's mistake, and at the same time, other opposite if say that see the intention behind other people's mistake, and then both will lead you to realization of something. Both will lead you to some understanding, both will lead you to some knowledge. How is that is possible? No? So that is where there is a terminology called fuzzy. No, there is a fuzzy logic. It's neither this and it's neither this, it's somewhere in between. No, that thing is that Shiva, that thing, because it's not words, the knowledge is not there in the words, the knowledge is there in between the words. That is the reason when Gurudev was talking about it, Gurudev said that we really want to understand that self-realization, you have to do the meditation, go through the meditation, and then and yet you do all the other things also. You do bhakti, you do use the Shakti, use the Yukti, and then you use all these the four things that when one does in the material world also you'll be successful, and Adhyatmic world also you'll be able to stay in the centered manner. So if you look at the spherical thing, and if you look at the center, the moment you try to go away from the center, create a radius in one in direction, that radius then on the opposite also it is there. So you are away from the center, so you will get into the movement. That's spandan, that vibration will come into picture. So if you go into this direction also exists, because to form a circle, it will go and come back to the same point with that radius. So it has to go through the opposite also. Again, it will come back. No? So if it doesn't want this and this, real, unreal, it has to be there. So if it has to collapse, that it has to collapse back to the center. And the moment it collapses back to the center, there is no movement there. It is all just shant, still. There is no radius involved. It's just that point. So that is what is the Shiva Tattva. That is what is Shiva. That is what is Brahma. So even if you look at all these things, you have to drop all these other ideas, the concepts about that thing, and just relax. And because you have to make it free from the Vani also. It is said here, you have to make your Vani also Nivritta, means put into silence, because the moment Shabda comes, the moment movement comes, it is distorted. It is already distorted. So we have to go into that silence also. So that's the reason it said that in this Jagat, that Shunya, that zero, that nothingness, and the Purna Brahma, in both these things, both Grahan, is both the meaning of both things, and the meaning of that you take, it is that one Satta, it is that one conscious, it is that one supreme. Either you be in the form of Sadeha, form, or Videha, formless. In both the sthiti, you remain in your self. Atma Bhava, you remain in your self, and that is what is worth remaining is. So like that Shuddha Akasha, Shuddha Chaitanya, you remain like that. You just be there. So in this Tattva Drishta, if you really want to take a Dhrida Nishchaya, take commitment on something, you do this. This Nishchaya, Dhrida Nishchaya, you get into your things. So then, and then do not have this mind, do not forget this. Anything that you continue to do, so continue to do your duties, continue to do whatever you are doing, but never ever forget this. That Chaitanya, and Vismaran. So that is what is worth doing. Then Chudala continues to explain that, hey Raja, this chitta is really the one which is because Gurudev also said, no, it's the same chitta, it's the man, which will take you to the self-realization also. And there's the same man which will take you into the sansara also. So we're really to understand this. And these ichhas, these desires that keep coming out of this, if you try to reject it or try to destroy it, that requires efforts. So if you are Yodha, continue to put that effort, or else you also have another choice to samarpan. Just surrender it. So look at ichhas also in the form of a bodies. समर्पण छोड़ दो. That is the reason always it is called as संकल्प को हम लोग छोड़ते हैं, संकल्प को लेके नहीं बैठे. संकल्प को क्या करना है, उठता है अच्छा संकल्प भी है तो भी क्या करते हैं हम लोग छोड़ देते हैं. Gurudev beautifully explained today. If you really feel that whatever that beej that has arisen in you, even the good one that arisen in you, what you need to do, farmer को क्या करना पड़ता है, किसान को, farmer will वो बीज को लेते खेत में छोड़ देते, they will sow the seed, they will have to let go the seed. Unless they let go the seed, it will not sprout, it will not become the tree. No? So like that, that sankalp, what are the things that comes? Offer that, offer in the lotus feet of the master or the divinity. Wherever your belief is there, whatever name you call, you just offer into the feet, offer into the feet of that divinity. Chod those, you just let it go. That is what is worth. So once we start doing this as a practice, offering everything, surrendering everything to the things, then what are the actions and the fruits of the actions? You also start surrendering it. You also let it go, and then how you will be? You will become free from this. So all the other things also of this, I am not this chitta. We just let go of the chitta. The one root cause behind all this in these five senses and its activity is getting outward direction. It is just that chit vilas, no? It's just that thing. So in this somewhat, in all these things together, this five senses and its other matters, that sanmatra chinna, chinmatra room is, that is what is you are. And then all the other things like ichcha, the desires, aniccha, not doing, kriya, actions, roop, that form, in that Shakti is what you are. That is what is there. So like this, if you just continue to contemplate on this and understand you are that selflessness, you are that Nirakar, Nirvikar, Ajanma, Ajar, Amar, Ananta, that Sarvatra which is there omnipresent, that is what is worth keeping in mind. That is what you do. And then how does that happen? Then he continues to explain that the Dani Purush, the Dani Sadhu Sangati. So he says that once that purity starts dawning, when that ignorance starts getting washed away, then once you become Patra, that once you develop that gratitude, once you get into that habit of being tripta, contented, when you start contemplating that self-inquiry dawns in you, that who am I, what is the purpose of my life, that purification process starts. And when that your Patra becomes free from all the ignorance, what remains is that the moment Guru comes into your life and Guru speaks the word, immediately that translates into your own experience. So this is what is happening with Shikhidhvaj now. Because of all the things that is being said now, till now, he has become that pure. And when the Chudala started telling him the real truth, the real knowledge, it has automatically started becoming and its own experience, his own experience. So that is where Vaashishtha Muni says that Rama, like this, when the Kumbh Roop Chudala, the one Chudala who is in the form of Kumbha started speaking like this, just like there is no show off there is no krutrimta, no? So akritim, and the really simple words, the really simple things that has started making a transformation inside, inside, and the intellect and the buddhi, the tarka of that thing, it has whatever the kalpanas, whatever the imagination, whatever the ignorance that the Shikhidhvaj carried, that started getting removed. And then that thing was completely established. And like this, he was become very stable. His Vani becomes shant, is this. And then he kept silent for something, just closed his eyes. He kept silent. And after a few moments, when he actually woke up, that point of time, he started addressing to Chudala. That again, the Chudala started addressing that, hey Rajan, the one that Nirmal, Nirvikalpa, Vyapa, no, Vishrantisthan, the Yoganchi Vishrantisthan means the one which is that pure thing, that where all the yogis, where do they reside? If you see that the Shiva, if you see the Shankara, he's sitting in a Magna, Jnana Magna. What is this he thinking of? He's thinking of his own self. No, he's doing the meditation of his own self. So all the yogis, what they do? They just sit and contemplate and get one with the own self. So one does that, then that Niratishaya, the Vishranti, is what you have experienced. Have you experienced that or not? No, that Prakash, that Antara Prakash, that self-luminous thing, that Bhranti which is there, have it been removed from your system? That is Neya, that is one which is worth realizing. Have you really understood that or not? No, have you seen that or not? Like this, she asked. That is where the Shikhidhvaj responds that He says, Bhagwan, whatever the things that you have been blessed me with, such a beautiful knowledge, such a thing that I have really started that as an experience. That is what is there. That is that sthana, that sarvasreshta sthana. That thing is what I saw. No? So he says, now he's getting into the gratitude. He's getting into the wonder. He said that is that antim jnaya, that ultimate thing, that Satchidananda Brahma is now, I have experienced that. No? So like this, why it became true for me? It was because of you. Again, he's expressing the gratitude. It was because of the sadhu sankati. It was because of the enlightened master that you have come into my life. And then you have made me realize that this sangha and in this samsara, that I have never would have experienced this Satchidananda, that Paramananda, that ultimate bliss, which is I am experiencing now. It is purely because of the Satsanga. It is purely because of the Sangha that I had today now in the form of you. And because of your vachanas, because of your things, this is what has now I have realized. This is so wonderful. No? Now that gratitude is coming, that wonder is coming. And this Atmapada, I am really wondering, why is this Atmapad, why is this self-realization did not came to me earlier? There, that is the point of time. This Kumbharuk Chudala, she started smiling. She said that, hey Raja, for everything there has to come the particular time. So when that particular time comes and all these indriyas, all this movement, all this mind, no, that gets out of this Bhog Vasana. There are some things that you have been carrying all along in the form of sanskara. All these things has to go. That ignorance has to be washed off. No? And then that point of time when your entire Bhogicha, now you're really drop everything. Now there are no desires that are left. Now there is no wanting to know. There is no things that are now anything of that length. So then that point of time, just like that drop which is there, that jala, that water drop is there, it submerges itself into the ocean, it becomes the ocean, it becomes the big, no? So like that thing, that the time has to come when the fruits get ripe, automatically it will fall. No? So that right time has to come, so that automatically it will get up. So this is the thing that has happened with you. So when you become ready, and whatever the Gurujan, whatever the Guru talks, and that point of time, instantly, immediately, tatkal, in that thing will, that you will understand also, you will realize also, and that will become sthir also in you. No, those knowledge, that thing, that Guru's words, those vachanas, suddenly will become your experience, and it will be firmly established also. So this, all that point, when you have been got stuck into all the other vikaras, raga, desha, etc., etc., now that's your manobhumi is now completely become pure. That vishesha mood, that supreme knowledge is what that. So he buddhiman purusha, he is addressing that he buddhiman purusha. Now that ignorance, that klesh matra, that ignorance, even that iota of that ignorance is not there now in your antakarana, in you. So this is the real diksha. This is the real initiation of the knowledge that has arisen in you. Because of that, that sakshatkar rupifal, that self-realization is what is dawning, and that is there, and it is the satsang, it is the company of the people that think that shubha karma, you will just nash. No, neither these things, neither this I'm good, neither I'm bad, I want this, neither I reject something. No, all these Veda Buddhi, that thing, duality has completely destroyed out of you. Even the Kartatva Bhavana, that aham mama, that thing, that I am the one who is doer of this, I am the one who is non-doer of this, all these things, like this is like this is like that, all these things, this vichara is also dropped out of you, and what you have achieved is that shokrahit, that dukkha, that sadness is not there. That actually you have become like a muni now. No? So this sarva indriya and then mana, now you have made it silent, and you have become the muni and maun. You have done mauni, you have become a muni, you have become very silent now. No? So in this thing, that when such thing happens, then Shikhidhvaj just asked one doubt that, hey Prabhu, whatever you have seen that, okay, this Jivan Mukta is there, the one who are self-realized, then their Chitta Nasha has done, the Chitta is already destroyed, then how they continue to think, how they continue to behave, is this thing. So there, this is where the Kumbha, that Chudala, answers that this look that when we say that there is a chitta nash, chitta nashta, it is not actually nash, it is not actually nash, it's not really destroyed, it is the transformation of that chitta that happens into the sattva. So when he comes into the sattva, automatically the sattva gunas, no, he's still in this body, no, he's still there. So gunas are there. That Gurudev we say, no, in Guru Puja we say Trigunas Sahit. No, he's there with all the gunas right now in a physical embodiment. So like that, once you are there in this physical embodiment, your chitta will transform into sattva. So sattva guna. Earlier it was caught up into tamas and rajas gunas, but now it will get transformed into the sattva guna. So the gunas like maitri, karuna, mudita, compassion, happiness, ability to help people, that thing, that bhakti, all these sattva qualities, no, the gunas, that will automatically become very obvious. That will become very obvious, and that thing will is what the difference that one see is in the agyani, the ignorant. That chitta will be there, and they will caught up in that, and the knowledgeable, and the jnani, and the one you will see that sattva that is there in all their actions. It is that sattva that will represent, because that will that other vasanas are completely distant. So it will be sattva that will become like bija, that will become like this thing, and that will continue to exist. So like that, that jnana sampanna, like that knowledgeable thing, that chitta will become the sattva. And this sattvastha means the Nari Purush, that one self-realized one, once they established into this step, they'll become the Jitendriya. They will have a say over their control over their senses. Then they will have the Sanyama, that Sanyamit Vritti, that tendencies, they will have complete control on that. Nirasakta, they will not have any asakti led, that feverishness, that wanting to do, immediately wanting to do, achieve something, that will not be there. They will become nirasakta, and then that buddhi, and they keep walking. So they just continue to do the actions, whatever is being there, whatever that comes on to them on their path, they continue to do this action, and they are completely free from the karma bandha. Means the actions they are doing without any intention behind it, they just do it, not any wanting to achieve something out of it. They are already trupta, they are already contented, and they do it. So there is no karma fall, or even if it is there, whatever the karma fall that comes, they do not feel that is a bondage for them. They go through that. Even if it is pain, they go through that with smile. Even if it is joy, they go through that equanimous state of mind. They go through the karmas and the karma phalas, or rather they just do the kriyas and not form any impression of that. That's it, they are mukta. So that is what is the thing, that one. And then the one who is bahirmukh, they are into that bandha, but the one who is knowledgeable, they are free from that. So that is where that mukti, that is where the bandha, that bondage is dropped. So you experience the freedom, mukti, moksha, liberation, freedom is what this is. So like this, hey Rajan, now you have become that satya. You become that Satyavan, you have become that Sattvavan. So that is where that, because you have now dropped your chitta, you have transformed that into thing. And this is the real Mahatyaga. This is the real Sarvatyaga. Earlier, what you used to think that, okay, I dropped my kingdom, I dropped my wife, I have not have any entangled attachment with my kids and all the kingdom and the people of that. Then when you came here, then when we were discussing, you even burnt your hut, you started dropping the things that was at the body, at the physical level. No, but this is what, when you drop your chitta, when your chitta is stopped, transformed into the sattva, that is the real. That is the real crest. That is real called as Sarvatyaga. And when to do one such Sarvatyaga, to do one such Mahatyaga, one really need not go anywhere. They need not come to the forest. They can still be, by doing their daily routine duties, they can get able to drop this. So that is exactly what Master teaches us. Why meditation? Why doing your sadhana, seva, satsang? 40 years of service to the humanity. Exactly what we have been doing. We're so blessed to have Master in our life to guide us to what is the real thing in life. Not run away. Running away may not be the solution for you. Just be there wherever you are. Continue to practice. Continue to walk on the path of Master which has shown us. Then when does this, all the other things like sampatti, dukkha, mukti, tapada, ityadi, etc., all this sarvakama, all the fruits of that will also you will just take in a paramabodh, that self-realization. No, if you do the other things, she's now telling one more thing, that if you do other penance and you do other tapascharyas, if you do the other foods, all the other efforts, how much sorrow you'll be able to remove out of that tapa. By doing the tapa, how much sorrow you'll be able to do. Sargadi sukhad. Also, if you feel like, okay, there is heavenly pleasure is there, how much that you expert you'll put and how much that you'll be able to go through it. No, after all, that will also diminish. Now, if you see the starting of the Yog Vaashishtha, that is where the Arishtanemi got an offer from Indra to come and be in the heaven. He says that, okay, what will happen if I come to the heaven? Then that messenger of Indra said, okay, you come there. There will be some categories, 3 categories, depending upon the punya karma and its thing. You will be allocated to one of the thing, bhuvana. That is where you will continue to experience all this pleasure and continue to consume your punya karma. Then once that punya karma is finished, he asks, okay, then after that again you will be sent back to this Mrityu Loka and again you will have to do. So he said, okay, then after I come here, I do tapasarya, I earn good deeds, I earn the punya, go to the heaven, experience that, go through it, again come back here, and this cycle will continue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm not interested. I'm looking for something which is permanent in nature. I'm looking for something which is not in this vicious life cycle. Something which is there in eternal. I'm looking for that. And that is where Arishtanemi refused that offer. That is where the Indra sends the message that, okay, if he is saying like this, before he rejects this offer, ask him to get in touch with the Valmiki. Valmiki is the one who has on the blessings from Brahmadeva, on the order of Brahmadeva, he has written something called as this Maharamayana, Uttar Ramayana, or Yog Vaashishtha. Ask Arishtanemi to get in touch with him. So that is where Arishtanemi gets in touch with this, and then that is where all these things continues. No? So it comes back to that same thing where we started. No? So that is where she said that even if you do this, how much it will give you the benefit, even if it's advantage and experience of that bhoga, how much will you go through it? And even if you do the tapa, vrata, all the karma kandas, pujas and all these things, how much of your dukkha will be diminished out of that, unless and until you realize who you are, unless until you get access to that infinite source of energy, source of infinite joy, source of infinite love, that you keep seeking all these things outward, unless you yourself know that you are the source, you are the one. Till that point of time, all the other things will be there, will continue to exist. So you drop all these things, other things that, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. That all thing wanting to do of any sort, you just drop and sit, relax, and be with yourself. Become one with that. Become ekaras. Become one with that divinity, with that thing. And then obviously all these things, the other spandana, all other activities, and the aspandana, that chanchalta, no, drop all that thing. So here, then Sikhe, that swabhavik pravrti, because you're Purush, you are coming in the form here, that you have this chitta here, and all these things, that by nature it will have the some gunadharma, some things with it, and then it will continue to do it, and then you will also do mistakes, will continue to do this, and when that viveka is done, that point of time, this all the chanchanta, this vipattis, etc., all these things, they will go away from you, and then you will become chitta, that your mind will become spandan rate. What is spandan of chitta? Is the sankalpa and vikalpa. I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm starting doing this, that is not finished, I want to do that, start new. All these things, that is what is spandana of chitta. That this is good, this is bad. All this pratikriya, what we get into the Ved, that Veda Vriddhi, that also will diminish. What will remain is that Shraddha Chitta Ananda, that Shanta Chitta, Spandana rate. No aberrations are there. It's just established. That will remain, and that is where you will establish yourself. So here Shikhidhvaja asks, what Bhagwan, this Spandana and Aspandana, this Chanchalta and Sthirata, Sthirata, that is Samadhi, how is that? Kindly tell me immediately now. No, I cannot stop myself. Kindly tell me, what is that? How one can get into the Samadhi Avastha? Because all these things are there, how one can? So that is where Chudala explained that, hey Raja, just like ocean, and then there is just one water is there. In this Jagat also, in this universe also, there is only one Chinmatra thing. That is what is there. It is that Shuddha, it is that pure, it is that Shanti, it is that peaceful, it is that Jalataranga, like that, what gets into different forms and different paths, but ultimately it gets into the Mahasagar. Like that only this Chinmatra Shakti, that only one Shakti, that Shiva and Shakti, it is because the one which is Shiva, Sthir, and it gets into the Shakti, that vibration, that Shakti is there. That is because of that only it starts appearing like into all these different colors and different forms, like that. When the mood, the one who are really ignorant, when they look at it, they think, they give name to it, and that is what over again and again being with, they start thinking this as real. They start thinking this is only the truth, because it is where they can see, that is where they can feel, they can touch, and that is what they feel, this is what is real. They get stuck into it. But you really get out of this understanding. No, you look at beyond, see beyond the names, see beyond the form. There is something which is there beyond all these things, and then that beyond the padartha, the matter, and the spanda, the vibration, beyond, you go beyond that nama and rupa, the name and the form, go beyond that and see that this is mithya. This is both this form, this shabd and thing, both are mithya. They are illusion. No, like that you continue to absorb that, just like it is just an illusion. Just leave it just like that. Then they will really get into that adhisthana, that atma sukha. That is where that spanda and aspanda, ekarup, when it unite together, that is when the Shiva, that atma rupa, that is what will remain. So that is the reason when we say that Ardhanari Nateshwar, why Shiva is depicted as Ardhanari, Ardhanari Nateshwar, because it is that spanda is there and aspanda is there. Aspanda is Shiva, spanda is Shakti. When that combines together, what remains is that Atma Swarup, that self. That is what is Shiva. That is what is there. And then that Samyak Drishti, that equanimous Drishti, that equanimous vision, that is what will dawn. And then you will not get stuck into this spanda and aspanda, and automatically both will dissolve, and what will remain is that Shiva Avastha, and that thing remain, that is what is nothing but your Shiva Avastha, that is what is Samadhi. So you just be there and establish yourself in only that state of your being. So after listening to this, he has really, everything has really wiped out with these words of Shikhidhvaja, which the knowledge that came in the form of Kumbha and the words in the form of that Guru Shakti, that has really, that Atma Bodha, that Shikhidhvaja has got into life, and automatically, without speaking any words, he happens to close his eyes and he gets into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So after a long time, he has not experienced this, this state of this being. He just get into this, just like a Meru Parvat, just like a Meru mountain, he becomes stabd. He becomes that, and then like that, when she says, continue to say like this Chudala, after saying this, that you have already achieved whatever you wanted to achieve. Now I really need to get back. That Narada would have been back into the Indra Sabha. I need to get back. And before Shikhidhvaj express anything, she goes ahead and Antarnyan. She disappears from there. And then after that, this Shikhidhvaja gets into this. He closes his eyes and he gets into the thing. So after 3 days, when again this Chudala goes and she says that let me go and find out what he is doing. So she goes there and she sees him. No, he is still in that state. He's completely into samadhi. She thinks that, oh no, he has some prarabdha karmas which are left. He needs to fulfill that. Whether that are left or not, that I really need to find out. She goes and then she does some fearful sounds she makes. Then which can says lion roars, like she sounds she makes, but it doesn't affect him. When she goes and shake him, it doesn't affect. No, so all these things are continued. That is where she realizes, oh, he has really. So if he has already achieved what is that, everything is removed, then we will not be able to make him come out, or he will remain in like this. So like this, she thinks that, how wonder it is this. In the afternoon, this was the same Muchal Ajnani, and mere by few hours of exchange of thoughts, as he has attained that purity, suddenly he has become self-realized. So it doesn't take so much of time, so many years of sadhana and all that. If there that purity is done, what they said, mukti is somebody asked today to Gurudev, what is that mukti moksha? I said, what? Not even 1 minute. No, the moment you drop your ichchas, you are already mukt. What tides you is those ichchas, those sankalpas, vikalpas. Now, the moment you drop it, you are already mukta, you are already free. Have that contentment, have that trupti in your, that you are free. That avastha, that Tiriyaga avastha, where the Shikhidhvaj is residing now. Now she has to put effort, that she says, okay, I'll now see whether what is there. He has completely into that sattva, that nirvasana. And if something is there, then only I'll be able to get him. Otherwise, he is just mukta. He is like mukta only. And if he becomes mukta, also what is the purpose of my life? I will also become mukta. I will also, yeah, that is it. So, but this is the chapter number 8 of that 79 chapter. Chapter number 80, that 9 and 10 chapter is still there. So what she does now, whether this Chudala and the Shikhidhvaj comes together, what they do, if they come together, is something that we'll look at that tomorrow. For today, I like to conclude my session from my end. Would like to hand over this session to all of you. Kindly, if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask that. And if you would like to express your takeaways from today's session, you are welcome to express that also. Once again, wish you all very, very happy 40th एनिवर्सरी ऑफ आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग। आप सभी को आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग के 40 जो वर्ष गाते हैं उसकी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। इसी तरह से जो गुरुदेव ने बताया, अपना प्रेम को, अपनी ज्ञान को सब जगह पे फैलाते रहिए। सबको प्रेम को और ज्ञान में, आनंद में रखिए। जय गुरुदेव। अनम्यूट का ऑप्शन यहाँ पे अभी खोल दिया जाएगा। यू कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड यू कैन एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ। ओवर टू यू। हाँ, जय गुरुदेव। डॉक्टर रीता, प्लीज गो अहेड।
You told so much excellent about this thing, this chapter. This nirvikalp samadhi, whether anything is occurring or not occurring, not affected by anything. It was really great listening. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jai Gurudev, Dr. Ita. Express themselves. They are welcome to unmute and they can express. Okay, we'll take a pause then. आज का सत्र को हम लोग यहीं पे समापन करते हैं। पुनः एक बार कल मिलने के लिए। जय गुरुदेव।